Hi guys, welcome back to Monstrous Lovers. Is that what this game is called? Last time we moved to the city to join this monster integration agency, and now we're at a werewolf's house because we bumped into him on the street and he felt really bad that he spilled our groceries. I don't know. But we're here, and we might get knotted, so let's cross our fingers, right? As it turns out, Ben's house is right in front of the one marked on Vincent's map. From the living room, I can even see Vincent's house through the window. Okay, that's kind of weird. The sound of Ben closing the door snaps me back to attention. Alright, maybe the music is a little loud. Let me just lower it down a tiny bit. Oh, wait, no. How do you feel about chicken? I shrug. Honestly, under these circumstances, I don't feel strongly either way. He gestures me to take a seat as he makes his way to what I presume is the kitchen. I pick the closest one, the couch, and sit down. Oh, who's this? Is this his little sister? Ben, where are you? We're starving. Sorry, I got held up by Donna. Go get the tableware, please. I guess it's just some random, or yeah, one of his other sisters then. That sounds like Ben and someone else. Maybe one of his other sisters? Because Ben's house is so small and quiet, I can hear them pretty clearly despite them not being in the same room. I try to distract myself with something else so I don't end up eavesdropping, but there really isn't much else to focus on. By the way, I invited a friend over for breakfast. Be nice to him. A couple of minutes later, Ben emerges from the hall, this time holding a large bowl. A little girl comes into the living room right afterwards, carrying a bunch of empty plates on one hand and some cutlery on the other. She's a were-creature just like Ben, except for her head, where it's long enough to be arranged into a ponytail. Her fur is much shorter. It's quite cute, actually. Sylvia, this is Christopher. Christopher, this is my sister, Sylvia. Oh, she kind of looks like a bitch. Is she gonna oppose this relationship? Sylvia takes a step towards me. She has a pretty intense expression of suspicion on her face. Way more intense than a little girl should be capable of. Is she a little girl? She kind of looks more adult. Her nose wrinkles and I realize that the face she's making is because she's not only looking at me, she's sniffing me. Oh, what the? You bitch, I'm not a monster. You're gonna discriminate against me? You smell weird. What kind of monster are you? Well, at least she looks cute. Ben's eyes go so wide as he quickly opens and closes his mouth a few times, obviously trying to think of something to say. He hurries to put the bowl on the table and with his hands now free, takes the things that Sylvia is carrying. Sylvia, why don't you go tell the others that breakfast is ready? They were really hungry, right? Raising an eyebrow and looking not quite convinced by the change of subject, she turns around and leaves. I'm so sorry about that. Humans have a very distinctive smell, and it's the first time she's met one. What, the first time? It's weird. Don't worry, I understand. Breakfast ends up being far more hectic than I could have imagined. Ben has 6 younger sisters, of which 5 ended up joining us for breakfast right in the living room. We barely fit there, and both Ben and I have to eat standing up so they can take a seat. Despite my protests, once we're done, Ben doesn't even let me leave until I agree to take some of the leftovers with me. He even offers to help me carry food to Vincent's, but to my luck, as I try to convince him that it isn't necessary, his youngest sister spills a drink on herself and he runs to help her get changed. Thank God, neighbors or not, I wouldn't want Vincent to come to my home and find that the first thing I did was letting someone I barely know into the house. I mean, it's a booty call. I'm sure Vincent would understand. After the whole ordeal with Ben and his sisters, I end up even more exhausted than before and barely make it to the house. As soon as I step into the living room, I leave the leftovers on the table and pretty much collapse on the couch right afterwards. I manage to lift my head just enough to take a look around me. All the doors look exactly the same, and there's no way to tell which room they lead to without opening them. Even though Vincent told me to go ahead and make myself at home, I can't help but feel like I'd be intruding if I just took a if I just began looking for the spare room without him here. There cannot be that many rooms. It cannot be that big of a deal. As I keep debating whether to wait for him, I feel my eyelids get heavier and heavier. Oh wait, no, this is Vincent. Sleeping humans are so cute. Okay, that's kind of creepy. I almost feel bad for having to interrupt you sleep. Well, if you interrupt me with maybe a dick on my on my cunt, you know, I won't be complaining. But my neck hurts just from looking at you. Come on, sweetheart, time to wake up. The first thing I see when I open my eyes is Vincent kneeling in front of me with his cock just in my face, resting his arms on the empty space on the couch. Personal space, Vincent? I sit up and push myself to the side, letting out a laugh. Vincent gets up as well and takes a seat next to me. I'm no expert, but I think the guest room's bed is a little more comfortable than the couch. Yeah, well, I have nothing to say to that, so I changed the subject. Wait, I fell asleep? What time is it? Almost 4. God, I must have been more tired than I realized if I already lost a better part of the day sleeping. Well, didn't you work the night shift, so wouldn't it make sense if you slept during the day? I don't see why that's a big deal. I make a mental note to buy an alarm clock when I come back from work. The good thing is that our shift begins at 7, so there's still about 3 hours left before we have to head there. I should leave early, find something to do in the meantime. Not sure. Maybe if I find something to do in the meantime, that means I get to spend more time with Vincent? That's kind of what I want to do. There's no point in going to the office so early. Sebastian never really got around to officially putting me into any position, and since he just told me to report to him at 7, I'm pretty sure we'll just end up going over paperwork again together. There's a chance that Isaac will be there already, but I'm not familiar enough with the warehouse procedures to be of any help. While neither option sound particularly appealing, it's not like I can assign work to myself. Instead, I decide to do something in the meantime. Let's see. I take a look at the leftovers from this morning, still in the same spot that I left them, and I get an idea. Vincent, how busy are you right now? For you, love? Not at all. Just look at his smile, guys. Isn't it kind of precious? I ran into one of your neighbors, the werewolf, on the way here. He was pretty insistent about giving me some leftovers to take home, so he lent me a plate. I was hoping to return it before heading to the office. I knew I recognized the smell. Ben's a really nice guy. I'm glad you two had a chance to talk. Of course I'll go with you. Bingo! This way I can return the plate to Ben and keep an eye on Vincent to make sure that he arrives on time. Thanks, Vincent. While I went to get changed, Vincent does me the favor of putting the leftovers in one of his own dishes. After we were both ready, we head to Ben's house. When Ben opens the door, he's wearing an apron and a pair of yellow rubber gloves. There's a strong disinfectant smell coming from the inside of the house too. It looks like he was in the middle of cleaning. He urges us inside, and as we take a seat, Vincent and I exchange a look. The smell is stronger, almost pungent in the living room. How is Ben not bothered by it? Can I get you anything? No, thank you. We just stopped by to bring your plate. I thought I told you you don't have to worry about it. He wiggles his finger at me in a half-hearted scold before taking the plate. You know, I do plenty of cooking for my sisters. If you bring me the ingredients, I can make something for you too. It would be cheaper than eating outside, and you'd only have to clean up Vincent's fridge. What's wrong with it? It kinda looks like you tried to summon a demon in there. Are they friends? Maybe you should come over more often and make sure I clean it then. Shaking his head, Ben dismisses Vincent's comment with a laugh. I suppose they get along so well because he's able to take Vincent in stride. So what do you say? I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to impose. What is this music? This music track is a little bit grating on my ears. I insist. It's really no trouble at all. After yesterday, I'm beginning to realize that my stay here will go much more smoothly if I just humor them when it comes to small stuff like this. In that case, I'd really appreciate it. If you give me all the things before you go to work, you can come pick up the food after you're done. This sounds like an in-game mini-game or system, is it? Doesn't seem like how this game actually is. How was your first day, by the way? Confused, I look at Ben. Even if he saw me at the office, he had no way of knowing that yesterday was my first day at work. Or at least I'm pretty sure I didn't tell him. I turn to Vincent. As if anticipating what I'm about to say, he shakes his head. Don't look at me like that. It wasn't me. Ben clears his throat to get my attention. I actually heard it from the pharmacist. She said that she had seen a human that she didn't recognize at the Department of Integration. I figured she was talking about you, since you're the first human to move to St. George in a while. What, is St. George not a big place? I feel like it's a big town, isn't it? That's probably what all those stairs from yesterday were about. Fine, I guess. I had a lot to do, but it wasn't that different from what I'm used to. He's being way too nice about it. Sebastian was an asshole, even more than usual. There was a misunderstanding. We sorted it out and everything is fine now. Speaking of, we'd better get going. I promised him that we would arrive on time. You did, huh? I guess that means I won't be coming in late from now on. See you later, Ben. Thanks again, Ben. Vincent stands up first, waving at Ben as he exits the house. When I'm about to do the same, Ben puts a hand on my shoulder. It's nice to see Vincent hang out with someone who's responsible for a change. Be patient with him, okay? He smiles, and an expression tells me that he's not actually expecting an answer. A moment later, after he lets go of me, I excuse myself and go catch up with Vincent. The walk to the office is pretty uneventful. Once we get there, we find the front door still locked, which means that we're the first ones to arrive. Vincent rubs his hands together, grinning so widely that his fangs show. Look at this, Sebastian hasn't arrived yet. I can't wait to see his face when he realizes that I got here before him. When Sebastian told me to make sure that Vincent wouldn't be late anymore, I'm pretty sure he didn't expect it to end up with Vincent being motivated by the idea of being able to gloat about it. Whatever works, I suppose. I take the key out of my pocket and open the door. Since we need to wait for Sebastian anyway, we head towards the break room. What? Why do you need to wait for him? Expecting the break room to be empty, I do a double take when I see Isaac sitting at one of the tables. Though he's facing the door, he doesn't seem to notice our entrance. Rather, he appears to be staring right through us, completely immobile. Seeing him like this, I understand why some people find androids off-putting. How is he here? The door was locked from the outside. Give me a second. Ignoring my question, Vincent approaches Isaac. Once he's close enough, he leans forward and waves a hand in front of his face. He's probably recharging. He snaps his finger a couple times and Isaac's head jerks up with a loud click. Good evening. My apologies. I miscalculated the amount of time I would have before the room would be needed. Isaac, what are you doing here? Recharging. No, I mean, employees aren't supposed to stay here overnight, alone. He turns toward Vincent and raises an eyebrow. Is he not informed about my situation? I haven't had the chance to tell him. Now's as good a time as any, I suppose. Why do you look so sad when you said that? We're interrupted by the sound of steps. A moment later, Sebastian comes through the door. I'll be damned! You're both here! I suppose congratulations are in order, Wells? He sounds so surprised, but pleased nonetheless. Something about his tone tells me that he didn't have that much faith in me. Anyway, I don't have the time to think about it. As soon as Sebastian looks at Vincent and Isaac, his body tenses up. He points at Isaac. Wait, what? Who is this? Isaac? Who? The android in charge of the warehouse? But we don't have... Sebastian pauses as realization seems to hit him, and I have this sudden feeling that I said something that I shouldn't have. He takes a step towards Vincent and begins poking him on the chest so hard that I can even see his finger bend a little each time. Is he a zombie? So Vincent, would you mind explaining to me who's Isaac? Vincent slaps Sebastian's hand away and crosses his arms. Didn't you just hear? He's the android in charge of the warehouse. What's the matter, Sebastian? You don't recognize your own employees? For fuck's sake, Vincent! How many times are we going to have this conversation? It's the second time this week. Christopher doesn't count. He was transferred here. That's not the point, and you know it. You're overreacting. Isaac has been here for almost a month already, and you didn't find out until now. I should say something before things get worse. I'm not even sure exactly what's happening. Apparently, Isaac doesn't actually work here? Is he just taking, like, free room here? Like, I don't understand. I have to side with Vincent, though. He's kind of cute. Oh, wait, no. Did I just side with the wrong person? Wait, no, I didn't. Okay, Vincent is the vampire. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The fact that Isaac was already here before us is pretty suspicious, but I'll just have to trust Vincent's judgment and hope for the best. Mr. Griffin, please calm down. You have every right to be angry, but if he was up to something, I'm pretty sure either you or Vincent would know by now. Besides, he's a good worker, and we could use one of those. Really, Wells? We've exactly as much money as we did yesterday. Salary is one thing, but then there's benefits, insurance, training. I can perform maintenance on myself, and I'm already familiar with the procedures of the job I currently carry out. Additionally, I require no monetary compensation. A place to stay and recharge is sufficient. A place to stay? You mean here? I use the break room to recharge myself when the office is closed, yes. Vincent assured me that the department regularly provides accommodation to those without it. Sebastian crosses his arms. He still looks furious, but at least doesn't seem like he's waiting for an opportunity to jump at Vincent and strangle him anymore. He turns to face me. Fine, the robot can stay, but I'm holding you responsible for it, Wells. Wait, am I Wells? Me? Who else? It was Vincent's fucking idea. Since Vincent seems incapable of understanding even the simplest of rules of his own, it's clear that I cannot entrust him with any responsibility whatsoever. Consider this an additional test. I suppose I brought this on myself, and it's not like Isaac can just go somewhere else. I nod. Good. Now all of this has given me a terrible headache. So I'm going to my office, and I don't want any of you to bother me unless Satan himself comes through that front door. Sebastian walks past Vincent and Isaac, all but pushing them away while muttering something about people that makes his job harder. If Vincent and Isaac breathed, I'm sure we'd all be letting out a collective sigh of relief right now. Thanks, love. I appreciate it as well, Christopher. Don't thank me just yet. Let's all get back to work for now, alright? Oh no. Alright guys, I guess that's the end of our demo. I'm sorry this video is sort of short. I never know how long these demos are going to be, so I never know when to end a video. Yeah, I'm kind of into it. I sort of like how the monsters are drawn. I kind of just like the art style. I really liked how Vincent was. His face is just kind of cute, isn't it, guys? And I even like Sebastian. I kind of really like Sebastian, kind of. So, you know, if this game comes out, I'd probably go for their routes first. But, you guys can check out the Monstrous Lovers Twitter if you want to get updated with more news, just as it says. I'll probably include a link in the description. And I'll probably include a link to the demo in the description. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!